Once upon a time, there is a young man named Obadele who battle with his ancestral curse. Obadele returns to his ancestral village to bury his father, a man he never truly understood. The village is ancient, shrouded in mystery, and the funeral rites are intense. As the drummers play and elders chant incantations, the village priestess approaches him with a warning. Your blood is cursed. He dismisses it as superstition, but when the coffin is lowered, a sudden gust of wind extinguishes all the lanterns. Whispers ripple through the crowd. That night, an old woman tells him about the Ancestral Stone, a relic stained with blood. It holds the sins of his forefathers, and now the curse has passed to him. Confused but skeptical, Obadele drinks from a ceremonial cup during the final burial rites. Unbeknownst to him, this act seals his fate. As he sleeps that night, his world shifts. His past is no longer his own, and the sins of his ancestors come alive in his dreams, and the troubles begin. Obadele finds himself in a village not his own, yet eerily familiar. He is no longer himself. He inhabits the body of Ogunlana, his great-grandfather. The air is thick with the scent of burning flesh. Villagers scream. A man is tied to a tree, pleading for mercy. Ogunlana raises a dagger, his face cold, emotionless. Obadele tries to stop, but his body moves against his will. The blade sinks into flesh, warm blood spraying his face. He wakes up gasping, his hands trembling. It was too real to be a dream. The priestess's words echo in his mind. Looking at his palms, he sees faint traces of blood. He rushes to the village well, scrubbing furiously, but the blood won't fade. He knows now. This is not his imagination. He is living his ancestors' crimes. But why? Before he can find answers, the next night comes, dragging him into the past once again. Shaken, Obadele seeks out the village elders, demanding an explanation. They sit in a darkened hut, smoking from ancient pipes, their eyes filled with knowing. You have awakened the spirits of the wronged, one murmurs. They tell him the story of his lineage. Great men, warriors, rulers, but all tainted by greed, betrayal, and bloodshed. The Ancestral Stone, they say, is the key. It carries the weight of every life unjustly taken. It is why his father never returned to the village, why his forefathers met untimely deaths. If he does not atone, the curse will consume him. Obadele laughs bitterly. Atonement for sins he never committed? But the elder shakes his head. You do not carry their sins, child. You are their sins. A chill runs through him. If this is true, then he is no longer just Obadele. He is Ogunlana. He is the killer, and the spirits are not done with him. Determined to break free, Obadele begins investigating his family history. He finds an old journal hidden in his late father's belongings, detailing nightmares identical to his own. His father, too, was haunted, but instead of atoning, he fled, hoping the curse would die with him. It didn't. That night, Obadele dreams again. This time, a council of elders condemns an innocent woman to be buried alive. He watches through his ancestors' eyes as she screams, her hands clawing at the earth. The dirt covers her mouth, her last words, "Your blood will pay for this." Obadele wakes up coughing, dirt under his fingernails. His stomach churns. These dreams are not just memories. They are real. He isn't just experiencing the past, he is reliving it. And if he doesn't act soon, he fears he will lose himself completely. Becoming one with the monsters of his bloodline, Obadele's sleep is restless. He is dragged into another memory. This time, he is Ogunlana, leading warriors into a rival village. The scene is chaotic. Flames engulf huts, women wail and children cry. He hears himself shout an order, and his men charge. Spears pierce bodies, and blood pools on the ground. A young boy clings to his mother, trembling. Ogunlana lifts his sword. Obadele tries to stop, but his body won't obey. The sword comes down. The child's screams echo as Obadele jolts awake, drenched in sweat. His breathing is ragged. He stares at his hands, feeling an overwhelming wave of guilt. This was no legend. This was history. His history. But how? His dreams are becoming too vivid, too real. His skin feels the heat of the burning village. His nose still catches the scent of blood. If this continues, will he one day wake up and find the blood is truly on his hands? Obadele starts noticing bruises forming on his body, marks that weren't there before. A deep cut on his palm, scratches on his arms, his nails caked with dirt from the buried woman. The dreams aren't just in his head. The past is leaving marks on him. When he mentions it to Aduni, his childhood friend, she looks at him in fear. "You need to leave this village," she warns. But where would he go? If the dreams followed his father until his death, then running won't save him. He avoids sleep for as long as he can, but exhaustion takes its toll. He finds himself dozing off against a tree, and the moment his eyes close, he is gone. Back into the dream, rumors spread. The villagers notice Obadele's strange behavior. His tired, haunted eyes, his mutterings in his sleep. Some say he is possessed. Others whisper that he carries the sins of the dead. The elders grow uneasy. When an elder dies suddenly in his sleep, some blame Obadele. He has awoken the spirits, they say. People start avoiding him. Even Aduni hesitates before touching him. The isolation is suffocating. This is exactly what happened to his father. The village has always known about the curse, but instead of helping, they fear it. They feared his father. Now, they fear him. Standing before the ancestral stone, Obadele wonders, was this why his father left? To escape the same accusing stares? But if he flees, will the spirits ever let him go? Another night, another dream. This time he sees his ancestor selling out his own people. Ogunlana sits at a table with foreign traders, exchanging gold for captives. Obadele feels himself smiling as a man is dragged away in chains. He feels the weight of the coins in his palm, the hunger for power growing in his chest. Then, the man being taken turns to look at him, his eyes filled with betrayal. It is a man from his own village. Obadele's stomach turns. The screams of the captured echo in his ears as he wakes up. He throws up violently. The sins of his ancestors are unforgivable. He is carrying the burden of men who saw their own people as nothing more than profit. If he doesn't end this soon, will he become just like them? Desperate, Obadele returns to the priestess. He demands to know how to stop the dreams. She sighs, as if expecting him. "The spirits do not torment you for nothing," she says. She tells him of a ritual, one performed only once before, long ago. It involves returning to the Ancestral Stone and confessing every crime his bloodline has committed. But confession alone is not enough. The spirits will demand payment. When he asks what kind of payment, she doesn't answer. Instead, she hands him a small knife. "When the time comes, you will know." That night he hears voices, not in his head, but around him. Whispers, cries, accusations. The air is thick with unseen presences. The temperature drops. His lamp flickers and goes out. A hand, cold and clammy, grasps his wrist. He turns, but there is nothing there. The spirits are growing impatient. If he does not act soon, they will drag him into their world permanently. He is running out of time. Obadele starts preparing for the ritual. He fasts. He avoids unnecessary conversation. He meditates by the river, hoping for guidance. But the more he prepares, the more his body weakens. He sees his father in his dreams now, not just his ancestors. "I was too afraid," his father says. "Don't make the same mistake." But what if it isn't fear that held his father back? What if it was something worse? The final dream shows him the truth. His father did more than run. He made a deal with the spirits. Instead of atoning, he sacrificed another man in his place. That's why he was able to escape. Obadele wakes up in a cold sweat. The spirits don't just want confession. They want blood. The real question is, whose? Obadele stands before the ancestral stone, the knife in his hands. The villagers gather at a distance, watching in silence. The priestess starts chanting. The spirits appear, shadows circling him, whispering his ancestors' crimes. He begins to speak, confessing every sin he has witnessed in his dreams. The wind howls, the ground trembles, the spirits demand more. As he speaks, a dark presence emerges. It is his father's spirit. "I made a choice," the spirit says. "Now it is your turn." The spirits do not just want a confession, they want balance. They want a life. The priestess hands him the knife. "A soul must be given," she says. He looks at the crowd, at Aduni, at himself. The truth is clear. If he wants to end this, he must pay the price himself. Obadele hesitates. His father chose another man's life. But does he have the strength to offer his own? The spirits grow restless. The shadows close in. If he does not act, they will choose for him. Aduni rushes forward. "There's another way," she cries. The priestess reveals a hidden truth. True atonement does not come through blood, but through sacrifice. A man must give up not his life, but his future. Obadele presses the knife to his palm, drawing his own blood onto the stone. "Let this be the last," he declares. The spirits hesitate. Then, one by one, they fade. The sky clears. The air is lighter. The curse is lifted, but at a cost. Obadele can never leave the village again. He is now its guardian, bound to the ancestral stone forever. As the village moves on, Obadele sits alone by the stone. The cycle has ended, or has it? A shadow lingers in the trees, watching. A voice whispers, "The blood is never truly washed away." He ended the ancestral sins with his own future. Obadele make a huge sacrifice. Tell me your view about the story. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment for more of our stories. Thanks.